I would like all the community to come out and try to get all this violence to stop. And also,
on this night out against crime, a New Orleans mother whose son was murdered this year in a mass shooting wants everyone to know all lives matter. Robin Jackson is asking people in the community to play a role in stopping gun violence.
Well, the type of violence that took her son. Paul Murphy joins us in the Milan neighborhood where Jackson is a big part of tonight's event. Paul?
Karen, Ton, we are near the corner of Magnolia and Milan, and Robin Jackson and her neighbors are setting up for tonight's Night Out Against Crime block party here. And she lost her son in that mass shooting on Claiborne in late July, and tonight she has one simple message: the killing has got to stop. Large signs at the corner of Louisiana and South Claiborne are reminders that a vicious crime outside this strip of businesses remains unsolved. The Crime Stoppers reward for information that leads to an arrest in this mass shooting is now up to $12,500. Two gunmen walked up to this location on a late July night and fired into a crowd outside the Jazz Daiquiris. 3 people were killed, including Robin Jackson's 38-year-old son, Kurshaw. 7 others were injured in the shooting. On this Night Out Against Crime, Jackson talked about her son's death.
Like people say it was his time. Ain't no such thing as your time when someone pull a trigger and kill you. No, it was not his time. He was murdered.
Jackson is one of the organizers of this year's anti-crime block party at Milan and Magnolia, not far from her house.
Tonight, I wish each and every day that the person who did this senseless killing come forward.
Neighbor Joe Pichot said it's important for Jackson to be involved in the get-together.
We want to be supportive, we want to show community support, and we want her to know that we're there for her and others who have had such experiences.
Police have identified 2 prime suspects in the Claiborne Avenue mass shooting, but have not released their names. They believe it was somehow gang-related, possibly in retaliation for an earlier shooting. Back at Milan and Magnolia, Robin Jackson hopes there will be a time when no other mother has to feel the pain and loss she now endures.
To stop the killing.
And the Night Out Against Crime event here near Milan and Magnolia gets underway around 6 tonight, and Ms. Jackson wants folks to know everyone is welcome here. We're live in the Milan neighborhood. Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.